Mike Barrelak here to entertain you with the help of Bush. They have a new album. Well, it's been out for 3 weeks. I'm a little late, so sue me. But my favorite band, Bush, got a new album. I was so much younger than me and all my friends. Impermanent. Actually, that song is not on the new album. That's on their greatest hits that came out in 2023 called Loaded. And I guess maybe Gavin's just regretted Too Much Pink for their greatest hits album in 2023, because the new album is almost solid black, including the disc itself. I thought it was kind of cool. The disc itself, front and back, is black except for the writing. Bush, I Beat Loneliness, the new album. So I finally acquired it. I'm a little late, so sue me. I've been busy learning a new job. I also haven't posted in a while because I've been sick. Fighting this damn weather, warm, warm, cool. Pick one and stay there. But, so I basically just been working and sleeping these last few weeks. But anyways, I discovered the magic of Dayquil and NyQuil. So in the future when I'm sick, maybe I always was reluctant to take something, but I also don't want to suffer, and I have to be able to function in life and keep going, keep doing what I got to do. So I discovered the magic of Dayquil and NyQuil. But I have to be careful with caffeine because when I'm sick, because Dayquil has caffeine in it too, and NyQuil has alcohol. So I was thinking, not on a regular basis, but I was thinking when I'm wired, I'm trying to get to sleep, and I need to get to sleep. I need sleep because I got to go to work today. I was thinking that maybe it wouldn't be the end of the world if I enjoy a shot of Amaretto or Jack Daniels. There's no chance of me becoming an alcoholic at this point in my life. The bottle of Jack Daniels I actually moved here with from my old residence 3 years ago, and the bottle's still more than halfway full. So back to Bush. So apparently there is a cover band for the band Bush called Greedy Fly, which I thought was appropriate. And Gavin apparently was on Bill Maher's podcast, Club Random. Apparently they're neighbors in L.A. over there. Pretty interesting little visit they had there. Almost 2 hours. Well, hour 45 minutes, minus all the Bill had to pay his bills. Bill had to pay his bills. Yeah, I mean, that's annoying though. They stopped to advertise. It's not even like a commercial. It's the content creator is trying to sell you something. Anyways, it was an interesting conversation. Apparently Gavin lives with his son and pays his son's Amazon bill, and I would imagine his 19-year-old son's Amazon bill is pretty high. I'm not 100% sure of Gavin Rossdale's politics, nor do I necessarily care. They talked about a variety of subject matters, talking about celebrities that talk smack about America, but yet still reside in L.A. Angelina Jolie name came up. But I was a little bit happy to see that Gavin mentioned about the fact that we've been lied to for so long. I'm like, good. At least he sees that. You got the Klaus Schwabs and George Soroses of the world engaging in globalist enterprise. And they had a meeting and they said, now, what philosophy and beliefs must the masses think for us for outer wealth and outer well-being. But he also talked a little bit about his ex-wife, Gwen Stefani. He described it as a disconnect. That's the word that he used. He mentioned that he didn't understand it because he said I think that's what the disconnect was, because he described it, he was proud of her, Gwen Stefani, his ex-wife, describing her as a hard worker, and she said that she felt bad for me because his band wasn't as popular. Well, I'd like to give my 2 cents into that, Gavin Rossdale, and the off chance you are seeing this. Knowing what I know now about female nature, maybe she could not deal with the fact that she, Gwen Stefani, was a superstar, whereas you, Gavin Rossdale, were a mediocre celebrity by comparison. Like on Matt Cross on 33 Secrets YouTube channel always says, very important that a woman respects you a little bit more than she loves you. Recently, my mom described what it was like being married to my father and then going to her boyfriend, the man that she spent the majority of her time on this earth with. And she described it as being married to Pee Wee Herman and then being with a member of Hell's Angels. I thought that was beautiful. But yeah, it's like I say in this channel. The problem with the society in the 1950s is a system was put in place that allowed the male ego to run amok in our society. The problem with the world today is that a system is now in place that allows the female ego to run amok in our society. I think the opinion of the intelligent men of today's world, of modern female today, is probably the same as the opinion of intelligent women of the average man in the 1950s. But in regards to Angelina Jolie, talking smack about the U.S. and still living in L.A., yeah. Are you surprised? A female hypocrite. It kind of comes with the territory of being female, apparently, with these modern women. Well, anyways, towards the interview, I had to the interview with Bill Maher and Gavin Rossdale. I had to laugh because they said, "Well, we should do this again." Yeah. Yeah, no doubt, pun intended, no doubt they will probably do it again. They're freaking neighbors. They live right there. So, anyways, there's a few more things about the new Bush album. That track, Rebel with a Cause, is like The Memory Remains on his one and only solo album. I also thought it was interesting because he mentioned, I don't think this was on the Bill Maher interview, but this is on I caught this as a short somewhere. I probably watch the whole interview when I have time. But Gavin also expressed that he wishes some of the songs he did with the band Institute in 2004, and so his solo album from, I believe, what was it, 08 maybe? 07 maybe? Anyways, his one and only solo album. He wishes some of that material was done under the name Bush, because apparently, for legal reasons, he probably can't perform some of those songs from those albums when he sings live. Although I have heard him play, when I saw him live, which I have footage of, when I met him too, I have footage. I have to share that on this channel at some point. But he did sing a couple of Institute songs when I saw him when he was touring for his solo career. That was 09. That was because he was still because the solo album came out in 08 and he was still promoting it in 09. That's when I saw him, and but I didn't meet him until he actually got back together with one half of the band, him and Robin Goodrich, the original drummer, for the album Sea of Memories. And that's when I met him downtown. And I talked to him on the street and everything. I got all that on video. But that song from the Greatest Hits, one of the extra tracks from the Greatest Hits, Nowhere to Go But Everywhere, video is Even my mom liked the video. But I think the song should have been called Impermanence. I don't know. I just think um, some of the lyrics are, I wish I knew myself better. I wish I knew myself more. Galore. His songwriting has kind of come of, as somebody who's been listening, been a fan of and really paying attention to his lyrics for years. His songwriting has come of age. Yeah, not knowing yourself. I don't know if that was a problem for Mr. Rossdale. Not me. I think I figured out who I was when I was in my 20s. And I also figured out that maybe I'm meant to just be on my own because no. Because that whole song, though, Impermanent, Nowhere to Go But Everywhere, I think should have been called Impermanence. Impermanent, not permanent, But part of what I guess attracted me to his songwriting was he always had an odd way, even back in the first album, 16 Stone, he had an odd way of using 4-syllable words. Impermanence, not permanent. Nothing is permanent without God. Nothing without God is permanent. I could eat right, lift weights. I started lifting again, lifting weights. Have an active life, and I could live to be 120. Enjoy the limited earthly things that are cool but limited here. But my life will end at some point. Impermanence. Anyways, I like the new album. I Beat Loneliness. I don't know how Gavin beat loneliness exactly, but I know how I did. I worked 2 jobs. I'm making mad money with my promotion at one of them. I'm making mad money. And it's all for me. I already have a beautiful home, a reliable vehicle, and everything I have is right here in my home. Everything I need is right here in my home. Okay, on to what's going on in the world. So Trump is securing America first forever. The Democrats can't even acknowledge the good that Trump is doing, like the peace in the Middle East. Something that our leaders said could never happen. Yeah, because they wouldn't be able to line their pockets if it did. But yeah, they can't even acknowledge that the good that Trump is doing because, Orange Man bad. But Hamas is not going to keep their word. Hamas will probably re-rise. There's a word Gavin uses in a lot of it. Re-rise. He's used that phrase in the song Body from 16 Stone. Anyways, Hamas will re-rise again because human beings are both lazy and stupid. Yeah. Cook County, a place where a parent can steal their kid's ID with no illegal action. No. I remember when I confiscated that ID of my father's when I was still a juvenile. Me and my mom went to the police station and said, "Here." Now here, in my mind, I'm thinking we're about to show a police officer hardcore evidence of a crime, and we were told, "No, we can do." What? A couple years later, part 2, he was still using he was still assuming my identity. Yeah, I remember a cop that I only found out about this because the cop came to the convenience store I was working. That was part 2, my father taking my ID. And part 3, he was still using my ID for something. My aunt had to hint to me to go to court on this date. I remember, you took the hint, huh? I went to court. No, I'm not. I'm not the person you're looking for. I'm his son. That's why Cook County can go straight to hell, as far as I'm concerned. Well, he's getting his comeuppance now. Or is he? I mean, after all, he's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. He's been institutionalized, and he thinks he's in Sweden. Did you hear about the Illinois state troopers saying shut up to the corrupt mayor of Chicago? Saying, no, we're going to just go along with ICE. I remember when I first started my life as a driver, my mom said, if you ever get pulled over, hope it's a state trooper. Because they're more reasonable than a city cop. Something I saw on NTD Business News blew my mind. Most people still think cheap labor is the ticket to success in business. No! Location, location, location. God, even China doesn't pay $1 a day anymore. Get real. Location, location, location is everything. Also goes to the heart of the reasons why I don't live in any of my former residences. I'm moving on up, moving on up. I moved west, though, not east. But in regards with China not paying $1 a day anymore, that's good for the workers there, but America first still. And I also decided I don't have to be charitable with my money. It's in a Western influence bank where my government is already dictating, emphasis on dictating, to me who I must be charitable to. Don't let nobody ever make you feel bad for not sharing your wealth. Matter of fact, because, I don't have the things in life I dreamed of, family, child, I decided that, 17 minutes in, let's see who's still here. Not going to mention this in any shorts, I ain't stupid. But I decided I'm going to talk to a trust dude or dudette and talk about getting a trust fund that says the first 1,000 subscribers of my YouTube channel at the time of my departure from this life will be equally distributed to those 1,000 first subscribers. So I have to, talk to a trustee and figure out how, the technicalities to make all this work. But it will be null and void if I have a biological child or if I decide to adopt. Hell, I already had a sponsored daughter for years, so adopting a child would be like the next step for me. And of course, or if the circumstances of my death are legally questionable. After all, this is going to put me, in a vulnerable position for loser human beings like that teacher who decided to mock the Charlie Kirk assassination in Cook County. Remember that? Yeah. Loser humans like that. So that'll be null and void if the circumstances of my death are questionable. My mom may have only raised me from the age of 13 on, but in the time she raised me, she did not raise a fool.